Hey y'all. So I'm gonna do a relatively quick video on how to calculate your estimated time for arrival, your ETA, and also how to trip plan. As you can see, it's raining outside, so what better use of my time on a reset than to make some educational content. Now, when it comes to calculating your ETA, I'm using the formula that, again, my mentor gave me, and it makes sense. For truck drivers that are just getting into the industry and you want to know where I'm getting this information from, I will show you that right quick. It's not going to be the route that I wrote out because I'm routing myself to go almost home. I'm not going to put my home address in there. I'm going to go to my old Walmart DC, which is relatively close to where I live. But I hope this comes out in the video okay. Now, on the load assignment, you will see your pickup, and this was the load I have on my truck right now. This was a repower load. It went from Virginia, and I am currently in Kearsey, New Jersey. Now, my fuel stops are non-negotiable through Melton. I have to stop at my fuel stops. These are the two fuel stops that I stopped at. Hopefully you can see them. They're showing up in the video. They look kind of blurry from what I'm seeing, but when I talk about the fuel stops, you know, this is where I would be getting them from on an active load. Okay. Now, I wrote all this down. This is for calculating everything, and I'll have all this right here in the description, written down, just in case it doesn't really show in the video. But I am load or trip planning and calculating my ETA from leaving where I'm at right now, which is the Home Depot in New Jersey, and I am route planning to my old Cocoa DC in Cocoa, Florida. So that gives you the two locations. I already looked it up on my GPS, and it is 1,102 miles. So that's where I'm going to start. I'll have the video on the sheet so I can kind of narrate and add stuff. Okay, so 1,102 miles total driving distance. You take the first two numbers and double it to 22. You double it because you estimate that you're driving at 50 miles an hour. That makes 22. How many times does 10 go into 22? Goes twice. That twice is 2 10-hour mandatory breaks we have to take. So that bumps the number to 42 hours. Now, in this route, it's pretty much straight down 95. I'm not changing time zones. If you were to take, or if you were to go, you know, east to west, you would subtract hours from your ETA because you're losing hours going west. If you're going west to east, you would do the opposite. You would add an hour for every time zone between your pickup and your destination. So in this case, this is a complete East Coast run, so I'm not adding or taking any hours away for time zone changes. All right. So where am I at? Okay. Look at your route, and I'll show this on when I go to my GPS. Look at your route and see how many major cities you're going through. This particular route has 6, and DC is one of them. Coming up here with this load, I'm trying to not use language in my videos, but it really was not good. Take that as you want. It took me almost 2.5 hours just to get through DC, Baltimore, and Philadelphia, that whole metroplex area. I actually had to send in an ETA update because I was supposed to be here at 6 or 1800. I ended up not getting here until like 7:45. So yeah, it wasn't very good. So with the 6 cities and 3 of those being what I just mentioned, I'm going to add 3 hours to my ETA just to account for the impending traffic. Now, if you're smart about how you drive and you wake up early in the morning and you can get through these cities, you don't have to add these 3 hours, because the odds are in your favor that you're not going to hit a lot of traffic if you're going through major metropolitan areas between like 1 and 5 o'clock in the morning. That's one thing me and Joe were starting. We were religiously starting somewhere between 1 and 4, and I was easily able to cover 550 miles a day on average, and that was cruising at 62 because that was his preference. Again, this is one of those variables depending on how you drive and how you run your clock. If you run daytime only, you're going to want to add these 3 hours because you're going to get stuck in all the cities. If you're smart and you rotate your clock depending on driving through major cities, you won't have to add those 3 hours. But for this case, I'm adding it because this is designed for new people pretty much. Okay, so adding 3 more hours on top of that, I am now at 45 hours. The approximate arrival time, picking it up Friday at 8 a.m. would be approximately 0500 Sunday morning. So I would submit that time to my dispatch, and then they would let me know. The load planners would, call the Walmart DC in this case and set up my arrival time for my appointment. Now, it could be earlier, it could be later. It's one of those variable things that depends on wherever you're dropping off, what their schedule is. Most of the time, now I know for a fact this Walmart DC is 24 hours, so that's not going to matter. But if it's, a job site, or probably 90% of the places you're going to go, maybe even higher than that, if your arrival time is on a Sunday at 5 o'clock in the morning, the odds are they're going to give you a Monday drop. In that case, if you drive right, you can get a 34-hour reset in, unless you're the kind of driver that wants to run recaps. I don't want to run recaps. That's not me. Okay, I showed you the fuel solutions on there. The fuel solutions I gave myself because I'm estimating it on the distance I'm driving. My fuel stops are going to be in Rutherford Glen, Virginia. It's a Love's. And Richmond Hill in Georgia, which is also a Love's. So you know why I'll be searching those cities when I program this route into my GPS. So let's go to the GPS. Okay, I am using a Garmin Diesel 1010, and it's actually listening to me right now, which is weird. Let me get out of there. Okay, so what I want to do right now is showing me where I'm at right now. I am going to go to a different city. Type in the city, Rutherford Glen, Virginia. It's already in here anyway. Then I'm going to make sure it's in Virginia and not, I guess Ontario, Canada. I don't know what that is, but yeah. Virginia. select, and I'm going to go to categories, trucking, truck stops, and then I'm going to look for the Loves that is in that Rutherford Glen, Virginia area. I believe this is the right one. So I go over here, plan arrival. Yeah, here we go. Oop. Rutherford Glen, Virginia. You always want to verify the address because there's Loves and Pilots and Petros and TAs everywhere, and you could have 2 Loves within like a 5-mile radius. So always, for my case, Melton negotiates for fuel prices, so I always want to make sure I'm going to the exact locations that are, you know, on my fuel solution. So I would hit go.
Please drive to highlighted route.
It's calculating. That's 289 miles with an approximate arrival time. Never pay attention to the arrival time because this is based on actually driving the speed limit, and a lot of trucks can't. Oop, sorry about that. Unless you're owner operator, you know, you're going to be governed anywhere between 65 and 68. So that time is, the ETA is going to keep on getting higher and higher the longer you drive because you're not driving the actual speed limit. You know, for this being a trucker GPS, you should be able to program what your cruising speed is, so it might make that more accurate. Hey Garmin, if you watch this, do that. Okay. I said hey G, and yeah, that's how I activate my GPS to talk to it. Okay, so the first fuel stop is now programmed. So now I'm going to go here. I'm going to change the location to a different city. Go to my second fuel stop. This is the Richmond Hill, Georgia one. Right here. Richmond Hill, Georgia. Select. That should be this one. Yep. Richmond Hill. So I'm going to hit go. Add his next stop.
Going to Love's Truck Care on 8436 Ford Avenue in Richmond Hill, Gate.
Okay, now that's my second fuel stop. I only have 2 fuel stops on this load, so now I'm going to put in my destination address. I'm doing it this way just to make it cleaner. You can do it different ways, but this is the cleanest way I have found to do it. So, oh, you want to go back in here. Or actually, no, hold on. I'm going to go to address. Now the address of the Cocoa DC is right here, so it's 4505. You enter the number, and then you enter the street, which is Florida 524. Oh. Let me put a space in here. Huh, that's weird. I'll do that again. 4505. Oh, yeah, I should have entered my city and state first. Heh. There we go. Now it's showing up. I would hit go. I would add as the last stop.
Going to Love's Truck Care on 8436 Ford Avenue in Richmond Hill, Gate.
Okay, so now, let me get out of there. Get out of there. If I zoom out all the way on this route, if you look here, that first flag is my first fuel stop, this second flag is my second fuel stop, and the checkered flag is my destination. Now, here's where it comes to shutting down at a good time to, one, where you can find parking, and two, when you can get through major cities. If for some reason I can't make it to the first fuel stop, which realistically I can, because on this one I would probably be on the road, actually probably not, I would be on the road around maybe 9:30, depending on what the load is and how fast I can have it secured. And that first, let me go back here, that first stop, okay, yeah. So that first stop is 800 miles away. What I would do, depending on what time I left, I'd probably drive for 2 hours, and then I would stop, and then I'd be looking for a place to shut down for the night. I would try to be parked, again, no later than 3. If I'm parked at 3, then that means I could be up and rolling on Saturday at 1. And then I could probably make that fuel stop. And then when I'm at that fuel stop, I'm going to look at how much driving time I have left, what time of the day it is. And then I'm going to select a parking spot that gives me an hour left on my driving time for the day, just in case for some reason I can't get to that spot and I have to go somewhere else. So to properly trip plan, you have to know and understand the variables. The biggest variable is how to deal with traffic in big cities. The second variable is, you know, what your appointment time is, if it's during the day or if it's during the week, or if you're driving through the weekend and you're dropping on a Monday. But that is how I trip plan. That's how I was taught to trip plan, and I am doing this video for educational purposes. So, and again, I'm an amateur vlogger is what we're called, I guess. So my apologies if the camera wasn't exactly where it was supposed to be at all times, but again, you know, I'm doing this to help people out. So I really hope you found this informative. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I plan on doing a whole lot more educational content, specifically for flatbed, because, well, van drivers, I'm just gonna leave that one alone. Anyway, that's what I got for now, and like always, I will see you later.